Hypergamy is one of the concepts I see discussed frequently in the manosphere. I find it to be one of the most blatant of all the red pill theories. When you begin to trace back previous relationships, their beginnings and their ends, you are able to note down clearly where the hypergamy has come into play to both identify you as a high-value man and to subsequently find your replacement. I found a story this morning that perfectly showcases hypergamy. Now, I do feel sorry for the husband in this story. He clearly hasn't swallowed the red pill and he didn't consider the repercussions of his actions. The post is entitled, "My wife of 10 years wants an open marriage after I advised her to use Tinder as a confidence boost." He is 39 years old, his wife is 38 years old. The post begins, "My wife and I have always been on the bigger side. After our second child, who is now 4 years old, I made a lot of lifestyle changes. I started going to the gym, doing powerlifting and running a lot. I tried to encourage my wife to participate, and in the beginning she was really enjoying going to the gym, but eventually she relapsed into bad habits. I'm not one to push too much and I always ensured her I would love her no matter what size she was. We were still having sex about 3 to 4 times a week, in which we both always enjoyed and pushed each other to try new things. Recently my wife noticed that a woman from my gym had commented on one of my gym videos on Instagram. It was a video of me beating my personal record in a deadlift, with about 10 people from the gym cheering me on, including the woman who commented. The comment was along the lines of "fantastic result. On to the next." I can understand my wife's insecurity, but I reassured her there is literally nothing there. This is someone I occasionally chat to during exercises, and one of the guys helping me in the video is her husband. Anyway, basically it came down to her feeling I was getting far more attractive than her and she was afraid I would leave her for some young and beautiful girl at the gym. We got into a friendly discussion. I proclaimed that if we were to both make a Tinder account now, she would probably still end up getting far more matches than me. Knowing that there are infinite amounts of horny guys, I was fairly sure of my hypothesis. I've never been on a dating app myself, but I assumed as a decent-looking 39-year-old that is in shape I would get some matches. We both installed Tinder and bought the Tinder Gold option so we could swipe in another city. We were both terrified of neighbors seeing us or something. We decided to put our locations to London and then started watching a movie. The mood during all this was giggly and fun. After the movie, which was about 2 hours long, we both checked our phones again. My wife had 330 likes, and I had 1. Her phone was blowing up. The first guy to start talking to her looked like a cross between Jason Momoa and The Rock, who was also a dentist. He was sure to show this in his pictures, and was very down for meeting my wife tonight. I could tell right there and then from my wife's reaction that all this attention was turning her on. We sat together on her phone for about half an hour just watching these messages pour in. So many compliments from 6'2" male model types, guys wanting to meet up, guys sending their number. Every kind of race and type of guy was there to choose from at her fingertips. When she asked about my matches and saw I only had 1, she let out an, "Oh ooh, at least I still want you, honey." Call me crazy, but this is the moment I saw in her eyes that everything was different. It was like suddenly she was realizing she could do better than me and sleep with an unlimited amount of hot guys. We deleted our accounts that night and didn't really talk about it much more. I for one was scared to bring it up and felt humiliated that I had only gotten 1 match. To make it worse, she looked far worse than my wife. My wife even made fun of my match. Over the course of the next weeks my wife started to reject my sex more and more. 2 months later we hadn't had sex in a month. She was cold, bitter and started to have mood swings. This is when I let my bad side get the better of me. One day when she was visiting her mom, I grabbed her work laptop that she always stores in her office drawer and decided to see what I could find. I found out that she was using Tinder on her work laptop browser and had been talking to guys from all over the world the past weeks. Dubai, New York, California, you name it, she had swiped there. The conversations mentioned her being single, and everyone was sexually explicit in nature. All the guys she was talking to were 10 years younger than us too. Then I decided to try WhatsApp.com to see if she would have left that logged in. I felt sick to my stomach reading her WhatsApp messages, but I had to know. I discovered that her two best friends, who have recently become single also and have been dating a lot on Tinder, have been pushing her to realize what you can get and have been trying to get her to leave me or force me into having an open marriage. She often sends them screenshots of the guys she is matching with and is openly contemplating cheating on me. I have been spying on her work laptop whenever she is out now for about 3 weeks, she still doesn't know. Yesterday she very lightly brought up the open marriage to me. But she framed it in a way that made it seem like I could do whatever I wanted and that she knew I'd want to fool around. She claims to not be using Tinder anymore since our experiment. I'm just absolutely devastated. A few months ago and we were great, and now it feels like my life is falling apart. It seems so animalistic what is happening. I don't want to believe my wife is this shallow, but it seems like she thinks she can do better than me and just wants to sleep with hot guys. From what I can tell she hasn't yet, but she has added a few guys from Tinder to her WhatsApp and been flirting with the idea of meeting them. In no way, shape or form will I ever accept an open marriage. I have of course made screenshots of everything and even recording of the conversations on her laptop screen. For me it feels like my marriage is already over. It's like I have been given a window into a part of my wife's mind that I wish didn't exist. I felt bad sometimes for looking at a girl's ass in the gym for more than 5 seconds and could lose sleep over how I might be betraying my wife by having indecent thoughts. End of the post. This ultimately will be a great lesson for this man, hopefully. This woman, however, is just following her natural urges. She shouldn't be condemned. A lot of the comments on this post took to defaming her and saying that she was throwing her life away. This, however, is more common than one would think. Women tend to not realize the options that are available to them, so they stay with their men. This woman might be making a mistake in betraying her husband, if she decides to do so. It won't make a difference, it is part of her nature. A great story showing the reality of hypergamy.